more than a year since the outbreak. It took from me everyone I loved.
Hello guys and welcome to another video from Oscar Cooper. I hope you are all doing well. Yes, it's another list from your boy, and if you're new to me, I'm probably YouTube's best kept secret. I come up with lists, a lot of them. This week we're doing the Zombie Games Top 10 PlayStation 4 Zombie Games, and we're going to start with Dead Nation. Dead Nation is from Housemarque. If you don't know it, it's a sort of top-down twin stick shooter. Housemarque always come out with twin stick shooters. This one's a little bit new in regards to their format. Normally it's kind of like sci-fi. They've got some ones that are side-scrolling space shooters. They've got an amazing one called Alienation, which is all over the channel. But I wanted to include this because I really like it. It takes the zombie apocalypse really seriously, i.e. they're fucking everywhere, and it's really cool to see these upgrades and these different abilities and these different weapons and weapon types and flamethrowers and grenades and mines that you can lay down. It's really extensive on the currency and what you can open, upgrade, change, even down to your armor. Now I also like the lighting, and this game also scores very well because of its multiplayer capabilities. So it comes as a couch co-op game, only 2-player annoyingly, but it's really cool to actually share the experience with a friend. I love little things like the torch, and it's also got a sort of rush button where you can charge through and knock zombies down, and that's highlighted on the top left of the screen by a sort of stamina meter. And also the cars blow up as well. If you remember Alienation, they kind of stole that from it, but it's really cool to have a Housemarque zombie apocalypse game. And remember, this is first on the list, and this game's going up with some really big juggernaut titles, so it's cool to have a nice little couch co-op indie game in here under the name of Zombie Nation. Next up is Killing Floor 2. Bit of a debate out on this one about whether they're actually zombies or not. I'm going to say that they're I'm going to say that they're undead. All right, good. But I've been debating with a lot of my listeners in the comments about all this sort of stuff. They're quite cool, the zombies. That one on the ground, I've seen people dancing like that in nightclubs. But they are varied and crazy, like really mad, crazy looking things, and they come in all different shapes and sizes, and the game is basically revolving around a horde mode, so it's up to 1 to 4 players online. There's no co-op in this one, unfortunately. It kind of looks a little bit janky because it's not a full price game, and it was actually released for free ages and ages ago, and I remember seeing it drift past, and I thought I better just grab that, and I don't regret it actually, because it's a very good zombie horde game, and things get extremely mental extremely quickly. You're doing a lot of walking back, you're doing a lot of panicked reloading, everything I want really in a zombie game, and it's great to have like mini bosses and a choice of maps. It's not vastly lavish with its content, i.e. this game's not gonna last you over 100 hours, but if everyone's got it, and you know, it's really cool to actually get in, meet up and actually slaughter some zombies. I actually get some points here for the zombies still going without a head. I think that's awesome.
Boom. Come see me. The pod's safely open. Nicely done.
As you probably noticed, there is a currency in the game, and when the round ends you get to spend it in one of these terminals, and this bit is really extensive. I like this area. You get to do a lot of upgrades, so you get to improve your armor, you get to improve clip sizes and put scopes on things and actually improve the power on certain weapons. And look at that weapon list, it's massive. There's loads going on this level, and it's almost RPG-esque, the amount of depth that you get given. And it's always really nice to take a new weapon out on a wave and sort of blast the zombies. That's another thing, is that it always keeps you on your toes with what's coming. It's almost procedurally generated with the order of zombies or what you're going to get, whether you're going to get a mini boss zombie or a big horde group of weaker zombies. It always keeps you guessing on that front, and I think that's very good. That gives the game a lot of longevity because you never know what's coming up, and you know, it's always cool to prepare and get ready for anything. God only knows. The online multiplayer is very good. It's really cool to sort of link up with friends and take on some zombies, and I like the idea of how the time slows down as well when you get a moment of respite or to sort of aim a little bit better. And the maps are very good. There's a hell of a lot of them, and they're also pumped in for free on a lot of seasonal stuff. So there's actually a Halloween thing running at the moment, and there'll be new themed enemies that are put in, so you're looked after really well on that front. And if you got this when it was free, haven't got round to it yet, really worth a look. absolutely awesome game. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, but Guns, Gore and Cannoli is just, there's just something so special about it. I can't put my finger on it. I think it's because it's a side scroller. I think it's because it's indie. I think it's because it's 4-player, and I just think how just weird it is with its playstyle, because it is basically a side-scrolling platform game, but they've not held back on just the amount of gratuitous gore that's put into it, and they've also dovetailed it in with the mobster storyline, and those two things just really resonate with me. I just love blowing these things up, and just the splatter and the rawness of the weapons are so much fun. And if you know the channel well, then you would have seen I put this on 4-player and 2-player couch co-op list, and I'm scoring these games on being, you know, pretty damn good with their couch co-op. And Guns, Gore and Cannoli has been sequeled actually as well. I should really have that on the list. I'm checking it out as we speak, but it's such a great little indie title with some really cool zombie animations and gore, you know, tied in with some real panicked gunplay. Absolutely amazing game. Okay, bear with me, alright? I know this is a tough pitch. Okay, you're probably thinking he has lost it, he's lost the plot, he's put a kids game on right nearly smack bang in the first quarter of the list, but look at this game. I hadn't booted this up until I'd actually got my Pro in and my new TV in, and I was just gobsmacked by it, and also gobsmacked by the amount of new content that they've put in here as well since I've last logged into it. It's amazing how much they pump into this game, and all the sticker packs and little upgrades and things. But of course, you know, I find myself rushing to the Horde mode, which is in the caravan, and again, we've got split screen on this game, and it's amazing that they catered for that. I think that's pretty goddamn awesome that they allowed this game, a game that looks this lavish, to actually have split screen. Borderlands was the last game that was that good looking that put split screen in. And but let me just sort of pitch to you why I feel this deserves to be on the list, because I know you're all probably thinking, yeah, you've kind of drifted away a bit from us, but it's a zombie game that's actually accessible for everybody. So loads of these games on the list, and actually this video is probably going to get demonetized due to the gore. Advertisers aren't going to go anywhere near this. But this game doesn't adhere to any of those rules, you know. It does the zombie horde without having to be gratuitously violent and have blood splattering everywhere and just, you know, death and claws and teeth and stuff. It manages it, and I really love the personality of the zombies themselves. I love the idea of being able to play as the zombies. I love the idea of all the different modes. It's got an amazing online that's so clever because of the class system in the game. The class system's massive. And it's also quite hard. I know you're thinking it's not hard, Coop, it's for 12-year-olds. It is quite hard. I've got this on normal. I got my arse kicked when I was doing this demo reel. I love the idea of it because of its accessibility, as I said, and because everyone can really enjoy this game, and you don't have to be an adult to actually enjoy that feeling of getting overrun by zombies, granddad zombies in their pants with newspapers. I mean, the humour is absolutely brilliant. It's adorable. It really does look adorable as well, and it does really well on this particular horde mode. Has a random boss generator as well, which always keeps you all guessing at the end about who you're going to have to fight and how you're going to have to deal with them, and just matching up classes with people, having this online, having this 2-player split screen with someone next to you is just amazing. You know, Plants vs. Zombie 2 is not to be sneered at, alright, by you zombie elitists. It's worth a look. So next up is Strange Brigade, a relatively new game and a relatively new addition to this list, and this has got an extensive campaign in it. Don't get me wrong, it's huge. I've reviewed it. I'll put the link in the description, but it's the horde mode I want to show you. It's actually very, very well done, and you obviously get a character select class. You get to play as online multiplayer with up to 4 characters, but it's a very, very slick looking game, and it actually has got some beautiful ballistic mechanics in it, and they've handled this horde mode extremely well. The game is sort of revolving around Egyptian, necromantic, undead, and you are trapped in an arena, but like a lot of zombie horde games, you can open up that arena and you can open up various sections and you can open up various weapons, and it does this in a kind of ingenious but also quite familiar way. What I want to point out in this little clip here is that you can goad them all into some really awesome traps in the map itself, and you just click that little orb and that's going to set an incineration off in that section of that bridge, which is quite hard to get working moving correctly, because they move so slowly and you don't want to be hanging around too long. There's also the economy system in the game. So you saw that chest was 3,000. I couldn't afford that yet. I'm in early rounds, but I can afford a sort of Springfield rifle, which is again changes things up dramatically. Very powerful, beautiful sounding. So I'm now sort of a bit more formidable, and of course I'm setting off other traps as well. I mean, how satisfying is that thing whizzing around? But then again, of course, you know, they're still getting me from the back. There's no scanner or map. I love the way that the armor sort of drops off that guy there. The grenades are really cool. There's a couple of different types, and again, you get them from the chest and from the box. But most of them are just combustible. They're really handy. It's also a melee attack. I love that. I love that. I should rewind that. I love that melee attack. It looked camp, but it really works. Now this is what I got out of the box. So I got a machine gun. If you look on the right, it's got a frosty circle around it. I've only got one clip with it, but it's got a power that actually freezes them. A 1 in 4 or 5. I can't remember. It's like a percentage, and that really changed things up. It was like awesome. I was like really cool. Now I've got a different method of killing these things. Then I got my Then I bought a shotgun, and by the way, that's a special that you build up on. I got my shotgun, and I was like, holy moly, things are now getting even better. And of course, the armor plating on these guys is just dropping off as I'm pounding them with this beautiful double-barrel shotgun. It felt so awesome. Then I was just encountering some really crazy mini-boss guys. This is Minotaur guy that comes in. This is about wave 5, and he's formidable. He took a huge amount of firepower. And then, of course, I got my flamethrower from the box, and I flipped to that. And so I'm just like, I'm loving it. I'm having a really good time. The enemy types are really varied as well. They throw everything at you, from mummies to scorpions. It's really good to see all the enemies in one mode, as opposed to have to look for them in the campaign. Now this is one of the secret rooms. They cost 7,000. I was like, I need to get in one of these rooms, and there was an amulet in there, and that actually I could slot into a gun of my choice. I found 2 in that room, and of course I put it into the shotgun. It was a fire amulet, and then again that changed things up again. I was even more powerful. I actually found an electric shotgun in one of the chests. I bought that, and that almost had an area effect. It kind of jumped to the different enemies. So I was just having such a good time, and I'm thinking, Strange Brigade is a damn good zombie horde mode game. It really is. This is a sort of final bit of footage where I put a decoy grenade out there, and of course they all flock to it. But of course, once that thing is popped, then they all just suddenly swing towards me, and I actually was trapped. I died up here, but it was so great holding them off on the stairs. You know, they're just layered and layering and layering in. This is a damn good zombie game.
Wonderful shooting.
The eyes of the world have been glued to the city of Haran for the past 2 months, following the outbreak of a previously unknown pathogen.
So yeah, you guys might be aware of a game called Dead Island that came out on the Xbox 360, made by some people at Techland. And this is Dying Light. This is the sort of reskinned current gen version of that format. Dying Light is an incredible zombie game. It's got a big emphasis on open world and a big emphasis on questing, and also sort of melee weapons. It very purposely shies away from ranged weapons, and it also has an emphasis on sort of looking around, crafting, gathering. There's also a lot of verticality in this game. Parkour or climbing is everywhere, and materials are everywhere. Now you can see that I've got like a cooking hammer. That I've upgraded that. I think that started off, I don't know what that was at the beginning, but you can actually start strapping stuff, bolting things on, and a bit like Fallout, where you could electrify something or turn something, you know, a lot more badass. What I think is incredible about this game is, and what it gets really right, is how wrong things can go in a situation that you feel you've got under control. And I think that's the zombie apocalypse down to the wire, is that you see it in the films all the time. You know, that a normal situation, a casual situation, can then just turn really wrong. And the game is very good looking, actually. It's got some great fire effects, and it's huge. The map is absolutely massive, and the amount of unlockables you can get from your weapons and different weapon types is again very deep, and there's loads of perks in there, etc. But again, back to the whole thing can go wrong really quickly. This situation is a great example. I thought I had this down here, and then a few more pop in. Some of them are like special zombies that can really concentrate on you and run really fast, and they will not leave you alone. They'll even follow you up onto buildings, etc. But I just thought, yeah, I'll get rid of these guys. Next thing you know, I'm kind of running for my life, and you know, I think I actually die here. I swing around and just about manage to pull the situation back. This is also a really cool bit of footage, I find, as well. The game does night and day transitions, probably the best of any zombie game, and what happens is a whole different level of zombie comes out at night time, and you'll get missions and errands that you have to run that involve these things called night crawlers. I think they're called night stalkers or night crawlers. This isn't footage of them, but I wanted to show how well the lighting works and just how brutal and hectic it is. You know, you're always fighting for your life. Here we go, this is where you have to creep, and you can see on the map that they've got a vision. I have to turn my light off and I can see it up there, and I'm thinking maybe I get on top of that van, and then it kind of almost clocks me. Incredible suspensive gameplay for a zombie thriller, and it's all online co-op, which is a really cool aspect. Whole thing's online co-op. Dying Light is a very strong game. We're quite far through the list here, and this game has really got some meat to it, no pun intended. Okay, so it's time for Resident Evil 5. Now, this slot was taken up by Resident Evil 5, and it had availability for Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7, and I deliberated for ages about it. Resident Evil 7 broke molds. It was amazing. It's my best VR game, full stop. I mean, as a horror experience, it's absolutely stunning. Resident Evil 4 was a groundbreaker. Again, I look at it as a Cube game and a PlayStation 2 game. I know it's available on the 4, but I wanted to include 5 because, and let me pitch this to you, 5 sort of takes on board a lot more content in regards to the split screen, and it's also had a really nice remaster as well, and I'm really pleased with the way it looks. The campaign is not going to change any lives, don't get me wrong, but there's something cool about doing the campaign in co-op, especially same room co-op. It's really important. A zombie game that's same room co-op that's really good, like Left 4 Dead, which is basically the homage of this whole list, it is so much more enjoyable. And you know, I just think that the RPG elements that they left in with the suitcase and swapping things around works really well, and saving ammunition and giving each other ammunition is awesome. I played this online co-op, and I played it couch co-op as well, and I loved every minute of it, and went straight out to buy it when it came out on the PlayStation 4, because the resolution is massively increased when you have this split screen. It split screens like a funny box. If you know the channel, you would have seen it before, but it was just really important to me, and it is a great zombie game. It is a really great zombie game. 6 was terrible, I know it is, but 5 really does deserve some recognition. I think a lot of people are really harsh on it, and it's not a bad game at all. And I love what they did with these dogs, the way their heads split. Oh man, the enemies are great fun, and they're really varied, and they're really cool. So you know, Resident Evil 5, definitely the campaign is a really good zombie game. Now, this bolsters my case when we get to Mercenaries mode. Mercenaries mode is probably the reason I rebought the game, to be honest with you. And I had Mercenaries mode on my DS's. I had 2 DS's and had 2 copies of that, and that was quite good. But this is really the flagship Mercenaries mode for me. 6's is okay, but this is where I really discovered its sweet spot. This is where the whole penny dropped, with not only having a wave of hordes, but actually wanting to stay in this place as long as possible. It's a really clever idea with the combos and stuff. If you don't know about it, then you should really look at Mercenaries mode on Resident Evil 5. It's absolutely outstanding. It's such an amazing mode. Dead Rising is here. Dead Rising 4 from Capcom, and I'm a little bit wet behind the ears with the Dead Rising series. We didn't get a lot of them on the PlayStation 3. It was a kind of a Xbox 360 thing, and you know, it really shone as an amazing zombie game. I think one of the stars of this game is not only the zombies, but of course Frank West, and of course his one-liners and just the shit he gets himself into, and the stuff that he says and does and gets to wear. And the game is all about weapon type and different outfits, and just slaying hordes of zombies with the coolest, most innovative weapons possible. Absolutely stunning piece of work, this. It doesn't hold back on the gore, it certainly doesn't hold back on the amount of zombies on screen, and I love these slow-mo cutscenes that the game gives you if you get a special. And just really, I am just obsessed with clearing the screen. If I see a huge street full of zombies, I must just go in there and just dissipate them. It's absolutely awesome with that sort of stuff. It's a bit like Brain Dead, the film, you know, it's that level of gore in it, and just not unapologetic at all, doesn't care, it goes crazy about it. And there's also quite a lot of weaponry in regards to the opposition, so they're not just zombies running at you, there's a lot of humans in the game that are really trying to fuck your shit up as well, and that adds loads of interesting angles to it, because you've also got to equip weaponry, etc. I actually really enjoy the campaign. I really enjoy it. I love its open map system and all the discoverables and all the secrets that are in there. And it's almost like the ultimate Pulp Fiction scene with Bruce Willis looking up at the top of the shelf in the Marcellus Wallace scene, where he looks at a plethora of weapons and just thinks, no, that's better. I couldn't help but not run past this spade and pick it up and just try it out, just to see what that felt like, and it felt bloody awesome as well. It's quite a lot of timing involved in the melee, you see. You have to sort of combine buttons, and he'll do a quick and heavy attack, and then you get an option for combination, etc. But just having everything going, everything firing, and this sword, I put this together, I crafted this, and it's got freeze in it, and it's just, yeah, I mean, this game is so funny, like, it's so satisfying. I found a good example, I found this lawnmower. I'm like, amazing, here we go, let's just get some zombie lawnmowing going, and I'm obviously finding it quite difficult to negate through this graveyard here, but I finally get out on the open road and I'm like, yes, this is great, and I'm trundling along, and then I realised that I'm not pressing L1, so I hadn't even put the blades on. Then this happens. The apocalyptic abandonment of responsibility and just pleasure that you get from the situation that this game world is in is amazing. It keeps on giving to me. I find myself in situations that really are truly like a zombie apocalypse. They're just everywhere, and they'll corner you, but you can get out with it, away with it rather, with just a massive comedy hilarities. It's no horsepower. What a game. So yeah, I'm going to add Black Ops 4, the zombie mode in Black Ops 4, quite a new addition, game-wise, chronologically, and of course, it's a real return home, I think, for the series. It's very good to see this kind of go back to basics a little bit, but add a massive added angle, which is the characters and their perks, and how you've got 8 of them, 2 sets of 8 of them, and you can interchange and switch around. And you've also got these hotkeys as well, the directional buttons, which allow you to drink during game itself. And then there's this whole potions thing about concoctions and getting a one-time use perk, and very much liking the aesthetics of this Nazi map especially. It's really dark and foreboding, and everything is not carried over too well on the HDR, I'm afraid, but it's got this rabbit hole thing going on where it's not too difficult to progress on this one. Everything is still, you know, as secretive as it always is, and I always avoid going into the walkthroughs too much with these games, but you have to get some help sometimes, but it's still nice to feel around for yourself, and I think that's the whole idea of this, you know, almost being like a roguelike game. But the dialogue's a bit spooky as well.
So, the Warden of Alcatraz finally rears his head. That's right, Herr Warden. I knew who you were all along, dressed in that shabby guardsman's disguise. I'll not allow some incorporeal third-rate occultist to get the best of me.
The weapon loadouts are good. I like this idea of being able to slot stuff in and out from the start. The more you play the game, the more you unlock, the little bits you can bolt on to. It's always had that progression system, but it's really embedded with this version. It feels like you're getting somewhere. It feels like you're becoming stronger, even though you're just basically playing through and dying and only finding out, you know, a tiny bit more. What I thought was so good was the flip special, and every character's got his own. They completely metamorphosize into a badass. The first time I got this military wheeler gun going. I was like, oh my god, I'm in zombie murder heaven here. There was like a homecoming for me. I was like, Black Ops is back. It loves you to play with 4 people as well, online co-op and split screen. Major points. You know, this game is running on all cylinders with how cool it is. It's so nice to have this series back, and this series actually be pretty good. I also like how the unlockables, what I mean by that is the progression within the map itself, i.e. turning on the power and getting, you know, all this weird stuff that you just have to end up doing. It's really well paced and it's well positioned and it's not as difficult. Also love that replay theatre. I've been having a muck about with that. That's very welcome, as to have a nice professional replayability and unhook the camera and really get a look at everything. Quick little synopsis here. I use my last bullet on a hand. I'm going upstairs. The zombies are coming down them. I've got nothing in this gun. I think, fine, I'll flip it. Nothing in that other gun. I think, I know where there's a shotgun. I've got the money. I'm looking down in the corner. I buy the shotgun. I sort the situation out. What an incredible game.
Should have at least 6 more barrels.
Okay, we're at number 1, and of course it's not Monster Hunter, even though there is a zombie dragon in that game, and I was very tempted. Of course, I put The Last of Us at number 1, and particularly The Last of Us Remastered. And again, every time I sit down to get demo reel for this game, it always leaves something with me. You know, it's not an easy game to play by any stretch story-wise, but it's an incredible piece of work. And the fact that it's set in a dystopian zombie apocalypse is just by the by. You know, that is dwarfed by how good a game it is on a mechanical level, and on a story level, and on a visual level as well. It actually comes with HDR compatibility with the PlayStation 4. It will ask you if you've got a TV that supports it, which is very good. That must have been an update, because that certainly wasn't around when I was playing this 6 or 7 months ago. I think what I want to go into is the setup, how it sets it up. The game sets up a film level of intensity with AAA production and storytelling, and just leaves you these breadcrumbs at the beginning, a tragically haunting story that just sweeps you away. The combat as well is something that I wanted to touch on, and it's something that I don't think people talk about enough. Naughty Dog have done this really well. Again, back to a lot of the other games on this list, I'm talking about situations that seem okay, but at any point, if you slip up, if you lose your concentration, if you put your guard down, just like in a situation, you know, in the crazy real zombie apocalypse, we've all imagined it. I think, you know, you can die very quickly, and I think that's great to always keep you on your toes. The distraction mechanic is very good, very well done. This works both on humans and zombies, and this is a great example of me just not preparing, coming around the corner, not realising that there's more than one zombie. Again, you've got a situation that could get really hairy really quickly. It does great for the adrenaline. The game just throws moments like that at you all the time, and it's really nice to be kept on your toes, because you don't know what's in what and what could jump out of what, and also that swimming pool filled with algae, these French windows, the dilapidation of the houses. You can tell that everyone's left. They've really done the backstory visually incredibly well with the houses and who was in them, and how that you can forage around and sort of craft and put things together. Is an incredible mechanic, and it's nice that it's got its secrets, and that you can really spend time in exploring and get rewarded for it. And the crafting is so simple and straightforward and intuitive that it's just easy thing to get your head around. Again, another example here, because it's been a while since I played this game, I forgot it's double triangle to stab, and so that zombie got off me, and I was like, oh fuck, because I know there's some in the house as well. So this situation got really out of hand really quickly, and I spot the one at the French windows. I'm like, pick it off. Everyone's doing their bit, you know, Joel's getting involved, and it's just great to be brought back down to earth all the time with the gameplay mechanics like that.
How far is it, Bill?
So I'll leave you with this clip, and this kind of explains a lot of the game's attraction for me. I remembered the right button this time, and of course this is a very large area. There are a lot of them everywhere, and I don't know if it's scripted, but things go wrong immediately. I feel I have to protect everybody. I'm threatened from all directions. It's a great induction of panic, and it works so well. You know, it's a winner, this game, for a load of reasons, but it being an incredible zombie game is probably the main one. So as always, guys, see you down there. Take care. Moving house. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Ellie, run! Run!
Well, that was easier than I thought it'd be.